The following is brought to you by the Cyber Time Bite Network. Holy crap!
Because Dave's a crow.
It's true though!
Oh, heck yeah. Justice!
You are now entering the Serpents Pit with Serpents Breakdown. Now, here's Serpents Breakdown and your host, Stephen Clark.
Hey there, everybody! You know what time it is. You know what podcast this is.
You know what time it is? It's snake time!
Snake time! Yeah! We are here for episode 7. Yeah, that's right. 7 of In the Serpents Pit with Serpents Breakdown.
Let's give you the breakdown of what's going to happen this episode.
You want me to give the breakdown, or you want to give it?
Yeah, you can give the breakdown, because I'm going to chew more cheesy fries.
While Serpent starts chewing on her cheesy fries over there, I'm going to give you the breakdown of the episode. Today we're going to be talking about, in general, as a general subject, the circus. I never been to one. It never really interested me as a kid, or ever. Until I met a friend of mine who's really into it, and I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna respect, like, I wasn't like, I don't know. It's more, okay, I'm gonna break this down. Not because my friends it's not because of my friends liking stuff that, oh, I gotta like it now. It's because I'll give it a chance, and if I like it, I'm not gonna like it. If I like it, I'm gonna like it. Does that mean I can't respect it? No, I can respect it. I can respect it. Like if Serpent likes, I don't know, let's just say
Yowie! I don't know.
No.
That was the first thing that popped in my head that was kind of questionable or not so questionable.
I mean, if let's just take that for example. If Serpent really likes Yowie, well, I'll respect it because that let's make her happy, and I respect that. But if we're taking something more reasonable to everyone, if let's just say what's something I don't really like, monster trucks. I don't like monster trucks really, but if it makes people happy, I respect it. So
what if pedophilia makes people happy?
Pedophilia, what's that? When
people sexually likes children.
No, no.
Exactly.
No. There's boundaries, okay? I'm not gonna respect people who rape children.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to bring that up because it was just like an opportunity to bring up something questionable like that. Well, it's not questionable, not okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna respect people who are gonna be rape kids, rape women, if there's raping men, that too. Like anything bad in this world, I do not respect. Everything good in this world, like monster trucks, I respect. Because monster trucks doesn't have nothing to do with rape, or I'm just using monster trucks as an example, but something like that, I respect because it makes people happy. Same thing with the circus, same thing with wrestling, like me, who likes it a lot. VHS stuff, the 80s and the 90s, the early 2000s, painting, and door making, whatever. Just nothing terrible. If it's something terrible, I do not respect it. If it's something cool, I respect it.
Nice. All right.
Had to break that out right there. How about you? How about you on that side? How about your side of the fence on that?
My side of the breakdown, or just circuses? Which one?
Well, I mean, I just want to cover this real quickly. Do you know how I said how I respect everything that?
Yep.
Are you the same way?
Well, you respect everything. I've got more of a hands-off approach. Now, obviously, things like pedophilia and, incest or whatever, that stuff's not really all that okay. But at least when it comes to incest, as long as they're both consenting adults and they're both cool with it, honestly, as long as you don't involve me, you guys do whatever you want if you're happy. As long as it's like, two consenting adults being cool with it or whatever. And if they want to be incestuous, sure, whatever, go for it. But things like pedophilia, I don't think, obviously aren't okay.
I know, but, are you, the same way like me, where it comes, oh.
It's a hands-off approach. If something is more questionable, but it's not, abusing anyone or, harming children, and it's just, two adults being weird, then, they can go do whatever they want, like incest. If they're two consenting adults, and they're cool with it.
So when you mean by hands-on, you mean,
hands off.
Oh, when you mean more hands off, you're you'll scan the situation and see from there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Now, if it was something like incest and one of the parties is not cool with it, then I'll step in because clearly someone's not into this whole incest thing. Because since incest isn't really okay in the first place, I would definitely intervene. Now, if they're both cool with it and consenting adults, then go for it. Your life, you can do whatever you want as long as it's not abusive.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I just wanted to make that abruptly clear because I don't think anyone really knew that about you and really knew that about me. So I just wanted to make that abruptly clear. Yeah, so today's subject, obviously, like I said earlier, we're talking about the circus itself in general. Now, it's been around. Now, the circus has been around for decades. I'm talking decades.
Centuries. It's not really all that big anymore, but it was 700s, maybe even the 1600s. It could even go even further back than the 1600s, but they've always been kind of just around, even if they didn't start out as circuses. But basically, circuses, they've been around for a long time. They may not be under the colorful red and white striped tent top for the most part, with the exception of a few circuses that still do the tent. Overall, they may not be in tents anymore, but they're still here.
But here's the thing, they don't need the tent. Here's a question. Would you rather be sitting in a tent freezing or sweating your butt off or being a nice air-conditioned, heated arena?
To be exact, the tent that I was in for the paranormal circus, it was actually pretty nice in there. It was actually a pretty cool circus. Now, of course, since it was a paranormal circus, they didn't really have, animals or anything. It was just more, spooky stuff, which I thought was pretty cool.
Well, because you're into that crap.
I've got that darker side of me, yes.
Yeah, well, I respect that. Like I said earlier, I respect that. If you like all that creepy stuff, I respect it.
And if a zombie apocalypse hit, I would know what to do, but I would probably die.
You probably killed them first before they killed you.
No, I actually probably would die. Now, I would know what to do to block myself off from the rest of the world so that no zombies can get into my house and stuff, but I would still probably die if I didn't block my house off fast enough.
How about,
I'm not a very physically strong person. Now, if I was a zombie, I would probably kill a lot of people, though, because I can bite for, I've got a tight-ass grip and a tight-ass jaw. So,
okay, that leads to a question, then. What, if you were a zombie, who would be the first one you kill?
Well, it depends on if I have, a consciousness or not. If I had a consciousness, then I wouldn't kill anybody unless it was like Trump. I would kill people like Trump and Nazis and, pedophiles and stuff. I would eat them, and then I wouldn't eat all my cool people. But if I didn't have a consciousness, well, I guess I would eat whoever comes closer to me first.
Oh, man. Oh, man, that would be the worst thing ever.
We should do an entire episode on zombies because I have a lot to say on zombies. That should be our next episode.
Yeah, I've been trying to pull a subject out of you for weeks, and you said, Steven, make up the subject. I'm like, well, this is a shared experience.
Let's do zombies next week. I want to talk about zombies, okay?
All right, next
week. But right now, circuses. So circuses.
Yeah, well, next.
Okay, shall I do a little history lesson on circuses?
Yeah, do a little history lesson because I don't know
Okay,
the
history lesson on circus. So as I said, they've been around for a long ass time. Originally, when circuses were like a big thing, red tents traveling around, stereotypical circus stuff. Basically, they weren't all that great. Like what I mean is that they were cool. People love circuses. That's why they're still a thing. But what I mean by they weren't cool is that they would abuse animals for starters, because that's how they would get them to do their tricks. They'd be just like when they have like in cartoons them whipping the lion, do what I tell you, lion.
Mm-hmm.
They would abuse their animals. They wouldn't feed them very well, and lots of abusive stuff. They would also have what we like to call freak shows.
Well, the freak shows are what. Let's be honest. The freak show is the thing that really drew in like a lot of people because people like seeing that crazy crap.
Yeah, because people were really bigoted. I don't know if I'm using bigoted right, but I think that's the right usage of the word. We're very bigoted in that time period because, they'd have people who have disabilities in the freak show. Like all types of disabilities. Like, for example, conjoined twins. They'd have that in the freak show. They might have a really fat person because, obesity wasn't really all that a big thing in that time frame because, it was either you're poor and you're dying of starvation or you're rich and you've got all the food you want.
Well, when you really think about it, too, when it comes to the freak show aspect, nowadays, like 2019, 2020, this time range, people are now using the term freak show not because of how originally it was. They're using it now as what you call it? It's like if they're crazy and they're like out on the edge and they're like,
well, yeah, but actually freak shows in this modern age are actually like banned because it's really like offensive, and they were actually pretty abusive to the freaks as well.
Man,
because they wouldn't treat them like real people, and just stuff like that. Like the original circuses were really horrible like that. They would abuse animals, they'd abuse people, and also they were very unsanitary. Very unsanitary.
I can tell because dirt and stuff.
Yeah. Also, they another fun fact about tents are hot, and you've got like 100 or more people smashed into a tent around the ring where people are doing tricks and like fire breathers or whatever, just people doing tricks in the middle of the ring. There's jammed in there. Those tents got hot really fast.
How? Yeah, but I got a question. I mean, if the circus has been known for so much abuse, how is it still popular and how do so many people love it?
Because people really like the tricks and they've changed. Nowadays, they have circuses. They don't abuse the animals anymore, and they don't have as many animals either. Also, obviously, as I said, the freak shows have also been banned, and most circuses do take place in a building now, so you have to head out to go to where the building is to see the circus, and they'll do all these fun tricks and stuff like that they always do, and it's much better now. Although I can't remember if it was like recently or if it was like a year or two ago, but there was some like circus. I don't know if it went out of business or they got sued or anything because it was a while ago and I didn't pay too much attention. But basically, some circus was getting like yelled at or whatever, sued something. I don't know, but yeah, I'm just gonna say yelled at for simplicity's sake. We're getting yelled at because apparently they were actually still abusing animals. So, I don't know if they like released animals or if they got out of it or I don't know what. I don't even know which circus it was, but someone was getting upset about that.
Well, with that back history, let's talk about the different kinds of circuses that existed and what is this now.
Well, back then there were only really one type of circus, the stereotypical one. I don't actually think there were too many varieties of circuses. They might have had different little things to make them stand out from other circuses, like different tricks or attractions. But overall, they were all pretty much cut from the same cloth. Nowadays, that we have all these different types of, well, not all these different types of circuses, but we have a few different types. There's not that many, of course. There's only like 3 circuses that I know of. And one of them I went to see, well, I've seen 2 of them, and there's some other one out there. I don't know if it's the one that I went to or the other one that or the imaginary one that I'm thinking of. That's some other one. That's the one that was getting yelled at for abusing animals. But it's either the one I went to or some other one. And there's at least 2 different types of circuses at the moment that I know of for sure. Your normal circus where they do tricks, elephants, all that stuff, fun stuff. And the other one that I went to that I personally love, the paranormal circus, my freaky, scary circus that I loved. It was great. It's not a circus for kids because they have a lot of adult jokes, but it's not like, haha, adult humor, blah, blah, blah. It's just, it's not like anything stupid like that. It's just, a humor for adults. Like, they do talk about sex at a few points because that's a joke that a few characters make differently usually. Like, they even joke around at one point where one of the audience members that they brought up, they walked down, like, it was a clown, so they did the fake stairs into this little chamber, and basically he pretended as if he was, like, doing it with her. Like, even, like, they had some, like, clothes prepared for as well to throw out.
Oh, God.
Before they obviously nothing happened. She was just sitting in the box. That's all it was.
Oh, God.
Well, he just, like, did his thing, and I thought it was a pretty great circus, honestly. Like, there was gory stuff, there was adult humor, and it was great. It was a really fun circus. And for anyone who follows my Instagram, the gas mask that I wear with my steampunk villain Deku, I did buy it at that circus. That's where I got it. I got that cool thing out of going there. Totally worth it. I love it.
Thanks for
It was a great circus.
Thanks for scarring half of the audience right there.
Oh yeah.
I'm playing. No.
Well, there's nothing really to be scarred. I just explained what happened. It's not like anything bad happened. They just pretended.
So,
I mean, the girl just sat in the box. It's not like anything happened.
So yeah, there's that circus, but the ones I know of that did exist, that don't exist anymore, and the one that does exist right now is that the main one that doesn't exist anymore that everyone loves, it was obviously Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey, the greatest show on effing Earth. And
that's actually 1 second, sorry. I made the mistake of trying to talk with a fry in my mouth. That did not go well. But that actually is one of the original circuses, so to speak. Like, they're one of the circuses that have been going on for a long time, adapting to the times. I know this because I've seen really old posters for that circus.
You know that well, you probably know this, but you know that over the years they had different themes for their shows, like different kind of acts that they had for the years. I don't know if you know this, but do you know that their very, very last thing that they did before they officially shut down was a extreme show where they freaking had they had all those normal circus acts, and they had BMX stuff, and it was this awesome freaking cool thing, and plus the name was Extreme, so I thought that was pretty cool. So did you know that?
I'm not too familiar with the encounterings of most circuses because I haven't really been keeping track with the circus news because I don't really know where to look for circus news, to be honest.
I can tell you I can actually tell you because on top of the Barnum Bailey stuff, they're out of business now. The circus that's going around now, that's actually coming into town at the end of this month, it's called Cardigan International Circus, and it's basically the regular, plain old, simple circus that just comes into town.
Nice.
Do you know about them?
Nope.
No? And you're
I don't keep up with not exactly. I don't keep up with the circus news, even though I'd like to, because I've got too many things to do. I don't have time to keep up with news.
Well, here's the thing. I actually have because of my job, I actually have an opportunity to get free tickets to the circus.
That is impressive.
And I'm not going to go into detail here, but if you want one, I could get you one.
That would be hella awesome. Circus is not the best.
It's going to be at the Sears Center. So
the what center?
The Sears Center.
Sears Center. Where the hell's the Sears Center? Isn't Sears shut down?
No. Well, they're probably going to rename the arena soon because they're going out of business. But the
Sears already went out of business, I think.
Not all their locations. They're still thriving somewhere. Anyway, the Sears Center is in Hoffman Estates, where I graduated high school. And
nice.
You know that well, you don't live around here. You don't live around here. You live more out, but
yeah.
You know the how do I explain? Do you know where that do you know where Cabela's is?
The what is?
Oh god, no, okay. It's good. This is gonna be hard
I couldn't hear what you said.
Cabela's the outdoorsy store.
Maybe.
There's a.
My memory is really bad, like really bad.
Well, I mean that's. I mean here's the thing. I mean like it's gonna be it's gonna be hard to explain, but it's in Hoffman. It's off the highway. It's right there. So. Okay. So yeah. Personally for me, like I said in the intro, I was growing up. I seen the commercials for Barnum and Bailey growing up, and I was just like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool and stuff, but you know. And then but then when I grew up and I met, you know, and I met you, and then I met Tiff, and I met 19/2+9/8, and I met all them. They were really big into it, and I was just like, what are they doing that's making this so big? Like, why are you attracted to it so much? And so I decided to look it up a little bit, and I was just
because circuses are awesome.
Are you the one that got Tiff into it, or she?
No, I went to her. She was already into it. I went to her first circus sec panel and then joined.
Is that what got you interested in the whole thing in general?
No, I've always been interested. I've always been obsessed with circuses. I think it partly was spurged on by the Black Butler Book of Circus, but even before then, I've always been really interested in circuses.
Does is so like why don't you like talking? Why don't you like posting or talking about it that much? Is it like something that you're not really highly into? I'm
interested in everything. I don't have time to post about everything.
So
it's like telling. Well, actually, no. I don't have any good. Actually, I don't have any good analogies for this. It's like telling I'm trying to think of a good analogy here, and I can't think of any. Like telling a raccoon to tell everyone about literally everything in its den. And you know how raccoons take everything?
Yeah.
That's me. I'm a raccoon, and you're it's like trying to ask me to make a post about literally everything I've scavenged, which is everything. I've scavenged everything.
So do you think that them bringing like, you know, BMX stuff or like, you know, like X Games type of stuff to the circus is considered wrong because it's not traditional, or do you think it's unique?
I think it's cool, and it's something people don't get to see every day, which is fine, good enough for a circus, but at the same time it feels odd because, you know, bikes aren't exactly the most circusy. Cat, do not do that. Do not aren't the most circusy thing.
Well, I mean, no. There's the tiny bike that the clowns used to ride.
Well, that's a unicycle. It's like there's a difference between a unicycle and a motorized bike that you do tricks on.
Well, I mean, didn't clowns back in the day used to have like those little tiny bikes, and they used to somehow ride those?
Tricycles and unicycles are very, very different from a BMX bike.
I know.
Sure, they may both be bikes in quotation marks, but they are not really in the same genre. Because one, kids and, small children and clowns ride. The other one is very, very dangerous, motorized, and you can do like flips and tricks on it.
Well, I don't think they were using like motorized bikes. I think they were just using like regular, bicycles, and they were just doing fancy tricks on it. Like, but you seen the X Games, haven't you?
Not really, no. I'm not really a big sports person.
Well, I mean, I'm talking I'm talking about like regular bicycles, like not like.
I consider that a sport.
Well, yeah, well, you know what I mean, like regular bicycles, and they do tricks on them.
The answer is no.
But yeah, I mean, just that's the kind of crap they're doing on their last leg of the Barnum Bailey stuff, and then they went out of business, and it was
which is kind of sad because they're such an old circus.
Well, I mean they went out of business because they were abusing the animals, and they were.
Yeah, that's probably the one I was hearing about.
And
abusing the animals is no good.
Well, it was not just that; it was also because everyone was getting hurt, and they weren't doing nothing about it, and they were losing money.
But even without that, all that stuff, like ignoring all that stuff, it's still kind of sad though because they are such an old circus.
Well, do you think that the corporation that owns Barnum and Bailey and Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey, like the company that owns that, screwed them over?
It is possible. It really depends on where the abuse and the injuries were happening. Were they happening because of decisions that, let's just call them the manager because that's a term I can work with better. But like basically the whoever is supposed to be like the manager role, was it because of the manager at the circus, or was it because they were getting orders from higher up? Like, is that where the abuse was happening? Like, words. Is the manager the cause for like allowing the abuse and the injuries to happen and not doing anything about it, or are they orders from higher up? If it's orders from higher up, then yeah, it's the company's fault. If it's orders from just someone who is in charge of the circus area itself, then it's their fault for letting it happen as the manager of that area. And technically, in some ways, it is the company's fault too, but they did as. If they weren't giving the orders down, then it's not necessarily their fault because they might not have even known it was happening. Well, overall.
I mean, they also, you also got to take into effect that they also, like, I saw one clip that, there was like this act that they had all these people like doing gymnastics, and they were raising them up really high in the air, and then the thing snapped and they all fell on the ground. They all ended up in the hospital.
See, that's more of like a maintenance problem. Like, it's their fault for not doing the maintenance properly.
See, I think
they should have checked their ropes better.
I think that was one of the reasons. I think that was what led to half the injuries. So everyone.
But also, it depends on, was it their fault for just not checking the maintenance, or is it the fault of the corporate for not giving them enough money to spread out what they need to do evenly? Like, if you're not giving your group enough money, they can't do everything they're supposed to. They can't check their equipment and pay all of their employees.
Because like I was saying earlier about them losing the money from the animal abuse to all the reasons I said like 5 minutes ago. I think because of all that is why they weren't getting the funds, why they weren't drawing in the crowds, why they were.
Well, I feel like. Sorry, I started chewing again. I keep chewing at really bad times. Like, yes, you're about to talk. Let's shove more fries in your mouth. Okay, but I feel like when they had the money, they should have been making sure, so let's forget all the money and the equipment's problems for a second here. First, they should have been treating their animals properly. A lack of money does not excuse abusing animals, because you don't need money to treat animals properly. Sure, if you're low on money, you might not be able to feed them as much as they want, but a lack of money does not mean you can hit an animal, because it's not like it's the animal's fault you're not making money. It's not like the animal, you can pay the animal after all. But so if they had been treating their animals right, they wouldn't have been losing money towards the abuse of animals, which would solve whatever money they lost from that. And then I feel like they And that's a loud motorcycle.
No, sorry about that.
And sorry, I forgot where I was for a second there, but equipment. If the
No,
so
you're talking about the animals.
yes, so they should have been treating the animals right, and that would have given them more money because whatever money they lost from abusing the animals would have come back. Then, if they wanted to, bring more people in, they should have done more advertising. Then, but proper advertisements, not just throwing money at marketing and hoping something happens. Like making a good advertisement, then showing it to, then transferring it to the proper advertising sources or platforms.
Well, I mean, I also think because they also had to have the money to get these animals. So I'm pretty sure after they abused the animals, they probably died from too much abuse, and then they had to use this money to buy more animals.
Well, no, they probably didn't abuse the animals enough that it would kill them. That would be really bad, really dampen their efforts because they're already losing money, and they'll lose more money if they lost their animals. Because how easy do you think it's going to be to get a lion in America or an elephant? It's not going to be that easy. I mean, there's the shipping cost, the keeping them alive cost, whatever you have to do to keep the animal alive. You probably can't put an elephant on an airplane, so you'd have to keep the elephant on a boat, which take it even longer. So there's the time, all of these different fees. So it wouldn't have been in their favor to abuse the animals that much. What they really were probably losing money on is the fact that they were abusing animal and that was getting out, and also the fact that they didn't do enough advertising, proper advertising to make sure that people get interest. Like if you show the person the same ad for like a year, they're not going to be too interested at that point because they've seen it for a year now, the same ad. Changing the ad every once in a while. So making it still cool and interesting to gauge their attention, and also making more acts. Not more acts. That would involve hiring more people, but trying out new methods for different acts. Like, oh, we did the trapeze act this way last time. Let's try it a different way this time, so it's new and interesting. And so that would help garner more attention. And then what the money that they need to check their equipment, because you can't have an act if the equipment is faulty, because you'll probably kill or injure your employees, which is not a good business practice either. It's more you'll lose less money, and you won't have to hire someone new if you don't kill them, which is why it's helpful to check your equipment, which is why it really pisses me off with this one. So little off topic here.
Yeah.
But there's one company that makes helicopters, and basically all of their pilots know how to do their work with this equipment so sorry, let me backtrack a second here. So their employees have been trained to fly the helicopter with a bunch of fancy equipment that makes it easier to fly and safer. And none of their helicopters have the equipment in it. Why? Because paying the lawsuits is cheaper than putting the equipment in their helicopters. So basically, they'd rather pay the lawsuits of people getting killed than to put the equipment in their helicopter.
What? Because
paying the lawsuits is cheaper.
That's just ridiculous. If you're building helicopters, you got to put your money into making people safe and not.
Yeah. To be exact, as a company, I don't know if they actually make the helicopters or if they make the helicopters and fly people in the helicopters. But basically, their helicopters don't have the equipment that their pilots are trained to use.
That's just why would you even make a business at that point? Because you're literally just killing people.
So basically, it's hard to explain. The pilots obviously know how to fly helicopters, but with the equipment that they don't have, it's safer to fly the helicopter because they'll be able to pilot it more safely when they can't see. For example, there was this one trip where basically, I don't know the guy's name, but it was some basketball guy, some sports guy or whatever, and they were flying him to his game or something, I don't know. and or maybe to a meeting or something, but they were late. He was late or something, and it was so foggy outside that they couldn't see. Now we don't know if it was that foggy when they took off or partway during the flight. Well, I don't know. I can't remember.
You're talking about Kobe
But
Bryant.
basically, they were flying, and and usually helicopters like follow like highways and stuff like that because they're so bright with all the cars that it's really easy to see. And the pilot couldn't see where he was. He was trying to make his way back, and if he had been like a few 100 feet higher in the air, he would have been fine. But he wasn't, so they crashed.
Oh, you're talking about the Kobe Bryant incident?
Yes, Kobe Bryant won that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one. And basically, they decided, and the pilot, if he had had the equipment that he had known how to use, he probably would have been able to get through just fine. But he didn't, and the company they've decided that it's easier to pay lawsuits than to get the equipment that they need.
I mean, helicopters gotta be more well equipped. I feel because so they can avoid situations like that. Like they need
Exactly. I'd rather spend the more money to have people safe than to have to pay lawsuits for people dying.
Yeah, because that's like saying like, oh, here's the show of a helicopter. It flies, but
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. So that's probably why when Barnum and Bailey was still in business, they or Ringling Brothers or whatever you want to call it, I'm pretty sure that's why they in those last couple of months in that last year right there, they're well, I mean, it's not like they were so unprepared that every show everything was falling and there was something breaking, but that's probably through the last few years and that last run of the show right there. They had probably so much problems with the mechanical stuff and so much problems behind the scenes that they couldn't take it anymore. So probably the company who owns them probably was probably okay guys, we can't go on with the show anymore because there's just too much money issues, too much abuse history in our company, and everything is breaking down. I don't think we can entertain these people as 100% as we could in the past. So we gotta end this right now. Don't you think?
Yeah, maybe. It's hard to really know without doing the proper research. Maybe I'll do that sometime just for fun. I love making circus AUs, so that's always fun. I've got a really good Homestuck circus AU that I've been writing for a while now. I haven't even started writing, and I've just been writing the backstories for characters and what their role is.
Hold on. Is it one of them Ringmaster Carcat?
Nope, the Ringmaster is John Egbert.
Oh, so you made your own universe.
Yes. I can't remember where I put Carcat in there, but I liked it. Obviously, I love dark stuff, so it's a really dark AU.
I feel but no, sorry, I want to talk about that more, but I want to say this, but I feel like that Cardigan International Circus is in business to this day. I don't know how long they've been around for, but I think the reason why they're in business today is because they learned from Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey and their problems, so they're able to stay afloat and be able to entertain the audience at this very low level that they're on right now. Because I went to their website just for this episode and just for everything for natural research, and they say on their website that they do not abuse their animals. So
one of my favorite lines, it's from Castle. Basically, so they go to visit the mother of the three, one of the serial killers, basically, and she insists that nothing she ever did to him could have made him what he is today. And Castle says when she's away for a few minutes, or when they're back at the office or something, I'm not really sure, but Castle's just like, only mothers who say that it's not their fault for the way their kids are at fault for the way their kids are.
Wait, Castle's a ABC show, isn't it?
I have no idea. All I know is that we solve crimes and it's fun. I've been watching it on DVD, so
that's pretty cool. Yeah. So I mean, what was I talking about? Cardigan. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, but no, we were going to talk about your Homestuck stuff now. Your Homestuck Circus stuff. I don't know. I mean, I want to say that it kind of interests me now, and I'm kind and
all right. I can pull up my little Homestuck Amino wiki page.
You have a wiki now?
Well, no, on Homestuck Amino.
Oh yeah, you have a Homestuck Amino on your circus stuff.
Well, I'm in the Homestuck Amino, and I made a wiki page.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Because it was easier, and it was originally for I had the idea before, but then I made the wiki page originally for the sake of a contest, but I never finished in time. But the circus is called Cirque des Reeves. It's been a while since I pronounced it, so I don't actually know how to pronounce it anymore. But the Cirque des Reeves. I don't know how to pronounce the Reeves because there is a little mark over the E, so I'm not really sure how to pronounce the E in that situation. But basically, it means the Circus of Dreams. Or wait, no. Let me just check real quick. Aha! Because I'm blanking if that's right. But that sounds right in my head. But it's probably not right anymore, knowing my luck, because I've got a horrible memory.
Wait, is it the circus of your dreams and reality, or
no? Let me go to my Google Doc where I originally started writing the story.
So, no, while you're looking it up, I just want to say that maybe the circus genuinely interests me a little bit, because maybe that's because one, it was the first kind of brand of entertainment before, TV and before anything else.
The Circus of Dreams. Yeah, I was right. Okay, sorry. Continue.
Yeah, I mean, like it was pretty much the circus was pretty much was entertainment before entertainment, if you get what I mean. Like,
kind of, yeah.
Like, before there was VHS, before there was video games, before there was sticking a ball.
Before there was a lot of stuff like that, the big thing that came to town was the circus.
And
now, sure, they had plays and stuff like that, which was a big form of entertainment, but for everyone, including common folk, it was the circus.
And I respect it, and maybe I get a little interested in it, but it's not really my thing. But I may be a little bit interested into it because I have friends now who are deeply into it and talk about it all the time. So, including you.
Yeah. Okay, so this circus does take place. This AU, sorry, takes place in the story begins in 1880. That's where the background kind of begins, basically.
1880.
Yeah, that was kind of the big time for circuses.
Do you mean 1885, like in Back to the Future Part 3? All right, yeah. Go ahead.
And basically, so I'll just read the background straight from it because that's going to be easier. It was around 1880 in winter, with snow. New acts have arrived and left, some by choice, some by not. The Circus of Dreams, because that's easier to say. Grounds are large, with multiple tents and small cabins. Usually, one tent to a performer, but there are exceptions, of course. Creatures with similar performances have their own section of the grounds. The cannibal, yes, there is a cannibal, is fed with the lions and the tigers, and the tanks for any sea-dwelling creatures are in the main tent at the entrance. Of course, most performers live in little tents and such. Others may stay in cages to avoid any and all possible incidents. And cages obviously indicate the freak show performers in this case, or animals, or freak acts that are considered in the animal territory, kind of like the cannibal, like considered in the animal territory because it's cannibal.
I gotta ask you before I lose the thought, and I don't mean to interrupt your little story there, but would you want this freak show to come back, or do you think it would be too controversial if it made a comeback?
It can never come back. I mean, they don't treat people very human. Like, they call it, for starters, it's called a freak show. Basically, they're saying the people there aren't normal and might, in some cases, aren't human when they're just as human as everyone else. Like, they'd have, in the freak show, they'd have, conjoined twins. They'd have midgets, as they're called sometimes. Really short people, which sounds less offensive than midgets.
Yeah, let's keep it that way.
Like, people who have a learning disability. I really do not want to try and sound offensive. A learning disability.
Like me. No.
And
no, can't.
Things like that. Just or people who don't have legs, like, at all. That would be someone in the freak show. Like, they're just like everyone else. They just don't have legs. It's not fair to call them a freak. It's not their fault they don't have legs.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was good for its time, but then it
wasn't good at all. But it fit with its time because things like not having legs or conjoined twins, which still aren't very common, but they weren't very common, like even less common then.
But were they thinking about that back then when they were like making up the concept?
People in that time were much more bigoted, as I said. For example, they were still racist in 1880.
Oh yeah, there's that whole I know all that.
Yeah, so there's that.
I mean,
but now back to the story.
Are you? By the way, are you in this story?
No, I don't put myself in my own stories unless it's like, like, for example, I need a character to kill off real quick here.
Yeah. Oh wait, you need a character to get killed off?
Yeah, if I have a character, I need to kill off a character. I'll just throw my OCs in. And most of my OCs are me. To clarify.
All right. Yeah, keep going. Then I want to hear it.
Okay. And blah blah blah. We try to keep those with grudges far apart as well for obvious reasons. We don't need fights starting out in our circus. Fights are no good. And if a fight does begin, there's nothing we can do but stop the fights or intercept the fights. But blah 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 blah. I'm confusing myself trying to say stuff. But let's go back much further. Everything first started in 1864. Going back even further.
All right.
In the night of July the 21st, a circus was on the outskirts of London, and John Egbert, of course, our future ringmaster of the Circus of Dreams, had wandered in while escaping his pursuers. The owner of a bakery, after stealing some bread. That's when he first saw it, a circus. People performing in front of a crowd, wondrous acts and stunning feats. He was mesmerized and decided then that he wanted to be part of something like this. He later ran back to the alley he called home to tell his friends about the circus. They were homeless, just like him, abandoned, even crippled, but they were his family. They loved the idea and set about trying to figure out how to get their own circus together. And that's when they met him, their secret funder, Edward J. Scratch. I bet you can tell who that is.
Edward J. Scratch?
Doc Scratch.
Wait. Is this tie in with your Scratch Laboratories?
No, that's a different thing. But I love giving Doc Scratch fun roles like this. He's their secret funder.
Oh man, all right.
The owner of the largest business in England at the time.
Mate.
He took them in. Seeing an opportunity, he fed them and dressed them. giving those with crippled the power to walk on their own, to feel and to feel via prosthetics. They were given educations with John as their leader, they weren't exactly quotation marks around leader, but there were those little apostrophes around it to like put emphasis on it. Because he's like their leader, but they're still kids, of course.
Yeah.
And worked closely with Scratch, mainly working as his young assistant until everything was ready for the circus to open. In turn, he said, sorry, I didn't really spell check any of this, so I'm going to have to think for a second to rephrase this. Okay. And this is where we kind of get a bit darker here also. This is where things take the darker turn that I implied or mentioned before.
All right. I mean, like if it starts like how dark are we talking? Are we talking about like Saw
very,
dark?
very, very dark. I take everything, and when you think dark, I turn everything up to the max and break the switch and go higher.
Well, I mean, oh, this is gonna be a perfect opportunity. We're gonna figure out how dark you can actually get. Go right ahead.
Producing villain laugh.
Oh God.
All right. Okay. In turn, it's cute. Every time I try and read this line, my mistake with the words throws me off, and I forget how to say it. And basically, in turn, Scratch. Well, so at this point, this is where Scratch's true colors start to show, and he was subject. So his friends didn't get to see as much of the darker colors as John did. They know of it, but John got hit, like metaphorically hit by the full extent of Scratch's darker colors or true colors, and was subjected to most of the abuse because of this. Being that he had to work harder than his friends, learn faster, design blueprints, learn how to be a businessman, and how to get people to hang on his every word. And, you know, other than the whole mentioning the abuse part, it doesn't sound so bad, but, you know, he's just a kid, and he's got to learn how to do things really fucking fast here. Like, he's got to learn everything now. Because, after all, he's going to be the runner of the circus. He's going to be the ringmaster. He's got to know how to, like, you know, advertise the circus. He's basically got to know how to do all the jobs so he can find the right people to do those jobs.
Yeah.
And let's see.
I'm just letting you read this story, and I'm just letting you read it out.
All right. In 1873, John, now 12, came across the Captor household. Obviously, you know, Solux and Matuna, all that stuff.
Yeah.
They were poor. They couldn't even support themselves. The mother and father could barely make enough money to feed themselves and their crippled twins. They had already been planning on possibly giving the two young boys, age 4, to an orphanage. But John talked with Scratch and decided that they would take them, and in turn give their parents quite a bit of money. In turn, they were about to drop their kids into the circus. The two boys were named, now, this is where it gets confusing. Matuna is actually not a part of the family here. He is part of a different family in this situation. Why? Because I wanted to do the trapeze twins, but it was Solux.
All right.
And Matuna's not a very good trapeze twin, so I'm just like, I'll just split Solux in half and it'll be fine.
How about Terezi and Equus?
Nah, they've already got their own roles.
Yeah.
Pollux and Calyx Captor.
But no, I asked because, you know, they're my favorites. I just want to know what you did with them.
They do have their own things, and I will be getting to it.
All right.
They would later take over the Trapeze Act. By 1877, they had found and acquired most of the people they could use in their acts, along with almost finished the circus itself. They had gained a few things for a freak show, though some of the members questioned the sources of these freaks in apostrophes, being that they seemed almost unnatural. Along with acquiring a strong man, an animal tamer, a daredevil, a snake charmer, a clown, and a tightrope dancer. Now, I'm sure you know who the strong man is.
Oh man, it's my boy.
Yeah. I can't remember who the animal tamer is off the top of my head. I'll have to go look in a minute. But the daredevil, I'm pretty sure. Well, actually, it might be Latula. That's the daredevil. I can't quite remember. It could be Latula. It could be someone else.
It should be
The
Latula.
the snake charmer is Matuna.
Yeah.
A clown. I'm sure you can tell who the clown is.
It's yeah.
Yeah. And the tightrope dancer is Kanaya.
Oh, well, I can
By
see
the
Kanai.
summer of 17, or sorry, not 17. We're not going back 100 years now. 1878. The
Oh.
circus had made its first performance, and since then stays in a town for about a week before moving on. It would spring up overnight in an open field and would have performances in the afternoon night, never more than 2, but only one with how long they are. After the show, guests are free to roam around the public grounds, not backstage, of course. And there is a wide variety of foods to try. Oh, I finally remembered the reason why I'm so obsessed with the circus. Now, I've always had a passing interest in the circus, but what really got me hooked,
Yeah.
I think, is, obviously other than, Book of Circus Black Butler, as I mentioned, which I loved.
Yeah.
But I do believe it's this one book that I read. It's called I'm gonna have to look it up real quick because it's in my notes.
But you didn't even go through everyone. You only you brought up Equus, you brought up
The Night Circus. It's called The Night Circus. It's absolutely by far my favorite book ever. The Night Circus is an amazing, beautifully written book. It is so fucking good.
what's it about? Like obviously the circus, but is it about
It's
the
hard to
history?
explain. The book is a little confusing at first because it jumps around. Like, it'll be 1 year, then it'll be another year, but by the end of the book, it all comes together, and it is such a good book. It's got magic, it's got a circus, it's got a magical circus, and it's so fucking good.
But is the book about the history of the circus, or is it just?
It's just about this circus. It's about it jumps around, and what I love is that it also has there's a few 1 or 2 page chapters in the book that basically it takes a first person perspective, like it's you going through the circus and seeing one of the tents basically, and it's so beautifully written that I've read the book 2 or 3 times now. I probably would have read it 50 times by now if I could, but I do have other books to read. Wait, no, it wasn't that book that got me obsessed with the circus, although that is the second book that kind of refurbished my interest in the circus. What really got me interested in the circus, also vampires, is the Cirque du Freak, which is a vampires. It is a 12-book series with circuses and vampires, and I love it, and it's amazing. They're both really amazing, okay?
Well, I do like vampires, and
The Cirque du Freak is by far the greatest series I have ever read. Well, I've got a lot of series on that same rank. I have a lot of series that are the greatest series I have ever read. Well, actually, there's only 2. The Cirque du Freak and Maximum Ride, but that's not the point. Cirque du Freak is what got me interested in circuses. I don't know why I couldn't remember that, but that's it. That's what got me interested. Also in vampires. I love vampires because of Cirque du Freak. I also like soccer because of it, too, because the main character likes soccer, but that's not actually important at all. All we know is he plays soccer, in the first chapter with his friends, and then he never really plays it again, but it's really cute.
Well, I mean, I do like vampires, and maybe
It's such a fucking good series. It's hard to explain. It's even got a manga, okay? This series got a manga, and it's really fucking good. The art is perfect and on point, the manga. It's exactly how I imagined all the characters. Whoever wrote it or drew it is a genius, because they got it right. They got it right. Unlike the people who made the movie for the Maximum Ride movie, they did not have it right. The manga is good too for Maximum Ride, although it's not finished, but they still have a few points that I don't agree with, but it's still really good. But that's not the point. It's a good series.
How would you feel if somehow, some way, we were able to turned that Vampire Circus book into a movie and we made it ourselves.
They actually did make it a movie and it was horrible.
But I'm saying, like, if we did it.
That would be hard because there's a lot of characters, but that would be fun. Because the actual Cirque du Freak movie, they kind of tried to shove the first 3 books into the movie and fuck it up horribly. Now, actually, I can't even make the statement because it's been so long since I've seen the movie that I can't even say it. So I can't make that point on it because I can't remember.
No, I'd say okay, man. I mean, it sounds cool.
Cirque du Freak Man and the Night Circus are a series and a book that everyone should read. Everyone.
It sounds really that one about the vampires. It sounds more up my alley than the other book.
You see, that series had a huge fucking impact on me. I started reading it 5th grade, about 5th grade. Around 5th grade, yeah, that's when I began it. I think it could have been no, not 5th grade. Around 5th or 6th grade is when I started. 5th grade, and before that was Warrior Cats, and I still was reading Warrior Cats, but that's not the point. It was around 6th grade or junior high is when I was introduced to Cirque du Freaking. Goddamn, it changed my life.
Well, I mean, how many RPO have you got interested into reading it and actually read it?
I can't remember because I kind of forget about it a lot now. I know that sounds like I don't love it, but I do. I own the entire series, and I'm in the process. Well, I'm actually missing the 5th book. I don't know how I missed the 5th book, but I don't have the 5th book, and I'm in the process of trying to get the entire manga as well. Like, that's how much I love Cirque du Freak. I don't talk about like ever, but goddamn, I love it. Darren Shan is a master. All of Darren Shan's good books are really fucking good. He is a master. All of his books are masterful and amazing, and they're all really great. All of them are on the same level of Cirque du Freak, and I have no words.
What? How would you feel if, like... Now, I'm just saying this, and I just want to say it. That, what if... Is it because I like vampires, and for some reason I go somewhere high with the podcast or whatever, and someone figures that out, that they want to like remake Circus du Freak, but except they want to put me in it and they want to involve my podcast, and they call it like...
Well, you should read Cirque du Freak first. Do that first before you make any plans, because goddamn, it's good.
But how would you feel if they put me in the movie and they killed me off? Would you be like, oh, well, I guess there's no service?
It really depends on who you'd play, because I mean, there are quite a few characters that die, but you'd have to be playing one of the characters that die.
Well, I wouldn't want to be killed off anyway. I can't imagine being like that. Ugh.
I enjoy being killed off. Like, I've never been like in something where I've been killed off, or in anything really ever, but I'd love to play something where I just get killed off, because that sounds like fun. Because I wouldn't die really, but it'd kind of be like dying. I'd get killed off in whatever I'm in.
I mean, like, how would you... Oh, what am I trying to say?
Don't ask me how I'd feel about you getting killed off, because I don't know how I'd feel. I don't know how I'd feel about anyone getting killed off, to be honest. I'm not very good about thinking about the death of how I'd react to people. Death!
No. I was gonna ask. Do you know your thing that your Homestuck Circus thing that you made?
What about it?
No, you know that you made.
What about it?
What if Circus Stuck was based off your thing? Like it became like...
I don't think it'd be con-safe anymore.
Yeah. Be like.
Because it's got a lot of like, well, not exactly adult themes, but it's really adult in the sense that it's really fucking dark, and there's a lot of like, due to the time period that it's taking place in and stuff, a lot of like, like bigotry and whatnot, and like, stuff that people wouldn't agree with, and if this became like a big thing or whatever, a lot of people would shit on it, and it'd be really annoying.
Like he would get so much heat that you would...
I would get a lot of heat for this, yeah. If this became a big thing, I'd get a lot of heat, and I don't handle heat well because I don't like dealing with it because I've got anger issues. And I don't want to deal with it because of that, because I will get angry, and I don't want to get angry.
Yeah, I mean, I
because
don't...
it's fictional!
Yeah, you
I'll
should...
pull it out to the sky! It's fictional!
Serpents is...
If you have this much problem with a fictional thing, why don't you guys go deal with the real life stuff of fucking around you with all these, like, you know, literal, like, I don't actually know where they are, but there's somewhere, there's there's human trafficking, there's lots of pedophilia happening, there's sexual assault, and everyone's getting their panties in a twist about fictional shit instead of dealing with real shit.
I should get you like I should just get you a like a device or something where when you speak into it, it just echoes it, and you can just go like, it's fictional.
I actually said that fictional thing so loud and intensely that I hurt my jaw. That's how intense I was. I was tense too. The tenseness did not help.
Oh man!
I probably should have stretched my jaw first.
No, it's fine. That is that's dedication, Serpent. That's dedication.
I just hate how people get their panties in a twist about fictional shit. Like, shut you're a hypocrite.
Like, shut your pie trap. It's fictional.
Like, shut your pie holes. You very hypocritical people. You've got your panties in a twist about fictional bullshit instead of dealing with the real bullshit. If you have time for all of this fictional crap instead of dealing with your real life crap.
Well, I mean, like, a lot of people turn to the fictional stuff to escape from their real life sometimes.
Which I get, and if you want the happy fluffy stuff, then only watch the happy fluffy stuff. Some people want to escape or enjoy dark shit. If you don't want dark shit, don't look at the dark shit. I mean, like, it's that simple. If you don't want dark shit, don't watch it or read it. If you want fluffy stuff, go watch the fluffy stuff. Don't be complaining about the dark shit that you didn't want to see because that's your own goddamn fault.
I mean, like
read a description or a review before you watch it. Like, if you don't want to read my circus stuck, AU, then read the summary or read the tags. Like, read the tags before you read it if you don't want dark shit. If you don't like dark shit, don't read it.
I mean, like, do you consider your circus Homestuck thing a circus stuck alternate universe to the real circus stuck?
There really is no real circus stuck. There's no real one. Now there's like the main thing that like people are just like, oh yeah, Ringmaster Carcat, but we all know Carcat would be a horrible ringmaster.
Hey, no.
He was a horrible leader in Scrub. He was a horrible leader after Scrub. He was a horrible, candidate for president. He's not a good leader.
Oh man, do you know how much heat you're gonna get for saying all that?
Well, no, this is a fact. He did horrible in his presidential race. He did horrible as a leader of Scrub. Like, if you've got a problem, I don't think we read the same webcomic. Like, seriously.
No, do you know how much heat? If Tiff hears this, you know how much heat you're gonna get for that?
I love the idea of Ringmaster. It's fun. It's cool. It's not like it's like our circus stuck at panel thing is like, this big thing or whatever. It's, fun and doing some panels and stuff, but,
you talk about it in reality.
Carcat as ringmaster, that's fine, but we all know he'd be a horrible ringmaster.
Every time about, like, in reality, if he was real.
In reality, he'd be a horrible ringmaster. He is a horrible leader. It's already been proven that he sucks as a leader.
Well, I mean, because he's always an angry boy.
Well, he's an angry boy who means well. The problem is that he's not very good at doing things that leaders need to do. He's not very good at making those kinds of decisions. That's why Vriska kind of like tried to steal his thunder, basically. And in some ways did do better, but also did horrible because she's Vriska.
Well, I mean, she's a B word anyway.
She's just Vriska.
It's part of her whole gimmick that she's a B word in the first place.
But that's also because of her circumstance. Now, it's not like she did nothing wrong. She did many things wrong, but she's also a victim of her circumstance. People like to forget that, aside from the fact that she's a fictional character, but that people, even characters, are a victim to their circumstances. Like, sure, you may be a fluffy baby, but you're because of that, because of how you grew up. You may be Friska, but she's like that because of how she was raised, and the planet she was on, and the culture she was raised in.
I mean, like that. I think that's like some of the main parts of why you get behind a character in Homestuck is because of their history and why you like them.
And people like to forget the history a lot. Now, sure, Vriska did many things wrong, but she's not completely a bad person too. Why? Because she is the way she is because of the culture and her upbringing and all of that stuff from Alternia. Alternia is not that great of a planet.
Yeah, I mean, like it's the same reason why I got into Equus. I mean, like not only is he the boy, first of all, but two, he just like it. I mean, like let's be honest, is he a very lewd boy? He is a very lewd boy.
He loves his horses, man. What can he say?
I mean,
he
like
loves his horses.
I'm not saying I'm into all that crazy crap because he's into all that crazy crap.
To be honest, when his route finally came out, I loved the backgrounds for his route because I just loved the horse art that he had on the wall. All of it was so priceless, and I loved it. And I don't mean priceless like hilarious. I just mean priceless.
What, like,
I just loved all of the art that he had because I'm just like, damn, that's right, Equius, that's right. You show them what you like. Also, I love how they made sure to include his gaming chair because everyone loves to forget that Equius is a gamer, and they gave him a really nice gamer chair.
Yeah, I mean, like doesn't all the characters have a gaming chair?
Not necessarily. Like, some of the characters weren't exactly all that interested in Scrub. Just like how, Dave wasn't all that interested in Spurb. Like, sure, he's a gamer, but because of the rating that the game was given by the game bro, he wasn't all that interested.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was reading Homestuck, like, I was continuing reading it like a few weeks ago, and it was so funny. Do you know the scene in Homestuck where John is looking out the window and he's just like not the first time he looks out the window, but the second time, like later in the comic, where he's looking down a hole or whatever, and it like cuts to him looking out the window, and both of his hands are on the window, and he's just like, why?
Yeah.
Can you imagine like him like doing the okay thing with his hand? It's just like his one hand's on the window, but the other one he's just doing the okay thing with his hand. If I was making the movie, that's what I would be doing.
Everyone's just like, Homestuck the movie, but no, we all know it'd be like a 20-part TV show.
Homestuck the movie. I literally legit tried to make Homestuck the animated series, and do you know how far that went?
How far?
Nowhere. It went nowhere.
It's not likely to go that far because, for starters, Andrew Hussey and stuff and whatnot. But
I mean,
I forgot, where did this conversation start from? He was coming from the circus, and then somehow he ended up here, and I don't know how.
No. We started talking about Homestuck because we were talking about the circus and the circus.
Right. Okay. So, and then I was ranting about people being stupid.
Wait, what?
Well, because, getting upset about fictional stuff and whatnot.
Yeah.
But, well then, want to hear the rest of my little background for my story, and then I can go over some characters that we can hear about?
Yeah, go right ahead. I want to hear it.
Okay. By the summer of 1778, the circus made its first performance, and since then stays blah, 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 blah. I read that already. Anyways, basically, the overview for a bunch of stuff in the story is basically, so John is 24 years old. He's your ringmaster Two-Face, and he's called that because he wears a mask, which, referencing the whole Harley Quinn thing is half one color, half another. I can't remember which colors, but that's how it is.
Yeah.
And it's he's a very playful ringmaster and stuff. And basically it's very dark, starting from John, because of his upbringing, beginning on the streets and then being taken in by a Scratch with his abuse to make him learn better or learn faster. Very, very, very dark. And then we have Pollux and Calyx Captor. They're both 19, and they are the amazing Trapeze twins.
Trapeze twins.
Yep. Matuna Castor, the Snake Charmer. He's 20. We have Colin Captor, which is psionic in this case, but his name was Colin Captor because I was trying to think of variations of Captor, and I couldn't think of a name for him, so he's Colin now.
Yeah.
He's part of the stage crew. Edward J. Scratch. We don't know how old he is, but he's over 30 at least.
Well, isn't that
he's the owner of Scratch Industries. Reference to my Scratch Laboratories there.
Yes.
And funder of the circus. Now, I want to describe my description of Doc Scratch just because I love my headcanon for what a human Doc Scratch would look like.
Go ahead.
His hair is slicked back and all white, of course, but slicked back, all fancy and stuff. And he stands at a 5'9". Sometimes the height changes a little, but I think a 5'9" is pretty nice.
Yeah.
He has high cheekbones and a slim build with a stern vibe about him, especially concentrated in his harsh, narrow green eyes. He wears a formal black suit with a white dress shirt and a black bow tie. Now, in this version, he does wear a black suit because that's the time period, but in other versions, he'll wear like a green dress shirt or, more green stuff. But since it is the 1800s, he wears a black suit.
Are you saying he's taller than me?
Yes. And he wears black formal pants, of course, and black dress shoes. His skin is pale, but he does go out often, which is why it's so odd that he's so pale, because he gets a lot of sun time, but his skin's still very pale.
Dr. J. Scratch.
Yep. And he founded his company when he was young with a few trusted friends, and it quickly grew until he was the richest man in London with his medical and incentive company. I don't actually know if his incentive was the right word, but that's what's typed here, so I read it. Incentive company or it might have been inventive. His medical and inventive company of Scratch Industries, and they are both known for their inventions and their medical advances. He has dealings with the black market S&B, which is a company I'll get into in a minute, because you obviously don't know what S&B is, but that'll be mentioned soon. Mm-hmm. S&B is an Asian trading company, as the little summary for now, and he's also associated with what would today these days it would be known as a mafia. In this case, they're hired guns.
Yeah.
Then we have Catherine M. Pikesys, the Imperial Condescension.
Yeah.
She is also over 30. We don't know how old she is, but she's old. She is the owner of the food company, because obviously Crocker was not really a company in the 1800s yet, because there wasn't a food industry. There was anything no Crocker. There's no Crocker in the 1800s.
Well, anything else?
So she runs the food company Shells and Buns.
Well, anything else you need there, Betty Crocker?
But so Shells and Buns, which is a bit of an odd name, but it's an Asian food company. Yeah. Shells and Buns, which is why the name makes sense in that case. Shells, referencing the sea, hick, her, and Condi shells, and buns, food.
Yeah.
Blah. So she she's a little bit taller than Scratch at 5. She's still 5'9", but she is 5'9.5".
Oh, come on, sir. Just make it 6 feet.
No.
Come on.
It wouldn't be 6 feet like that. It would be just 5'10" then.
Yeah, but Yeah, but it doesn't make sense. Like 5'9" to 5'9.5". Just
She's
make
a
it 6
woman.
feet.
She's not that tall. Women are short.
Yeah, but you're like basically making them the same height, but it's like you're just adding a
She
1.
is very, very tall for a woman in this century. Okay, very tall for a woman in her century.
All right.
And then we have her daughter, Mina Pikesies. She is the heir and oldest daughter to Catherine, and she stands at 5'7". Fefri, the youngest biological daughter of Catherine, and her other daughter is adoptive. Obviously, that's Jane.
All right.
And then we have one of my favorite characters, James G. Cat. And if you can't figure that out, I'm going to be very sad who he is.
Wait. Do you say
James G. Cat?
Wait, James
K.
James G. Cat?
Yes. Although the cat is spelled with a K.
Are you saying that? Wait, are you making a reference to a character?
It's G Cat. It's God Cat. He's God Cat.
Oh.
And basically, that's I like to make the things with all the characters, and so obviously I had to include G-Cat. He is the right-hand man and assistant to Catherine.
How do you feel? How do you feel about expanding this universe?
It's already as expanding as in all the characters, because I already have all the characters.
But I'm saying, how would you feel about going forward with this?
Going forward, I am slowly going forward when I find myself with some free time for my free time.
No, because is there any way I can get involved in all of this?
I mean, you probably could, but I pretty much have all of the character ideas written up already and a plot in mind.
I mean, I could be I could stir up titles and ice cream again and be across.
I do need titles. That would be helpful.
No, because I gotta bring this up to you. I don't know if I ever told you this, but on my old podcast, Adventure Time Guys, I used to do with my other friend, he had Crocker Corp and I had titles and ice cream, and we were pretending to compete against each other, and basically my thing was we sold floor tiles and ice cream. Which makes no sense, but okay. But I know that wouldn't work in your story because it's 1800, and in 1800 floor tiles never existed yet.
Yeah.
But what if I in your story, well, I can't be Crash Stevens because that would make no sense in 1800. But I I can make up some character, but that I can run a little I don't know how violent your story is gonna get, but I can be what can I say? I can be a conjunction off of your circus. I can be a concession guy, or I can be an outsider.
I mean, that is a possibility, but I can't really make any decisions until I actually finish writing up all the characters.
Well, how many more characters are in?
I still have the entire felt to do and a lot of side characters. Now, I already have roles for them. I just haven't written them up yet.
It sounds pretty great though.
Yeah. But yeah. Let's see. And then I have more characters. I have a lot of characters with roles.
Are you happy how it's turning out so far though?
So far, yeah. We also, for the Handmaiden, she runs an Asian trading and tea company. But it's only her and Damara because Aradia is a gypsy. Now, technically, she is the daughter of the Handmaiden still, but she lives as a gypsy.
Man, you're just going deep on all
yeah.
this.
Snowman, aka Elizabeth T. Snones, is basically the hired guns. This time period's mafia. She runs the mafia basically.
So there not only is there the circus and its characters, but there's also all this running crap outside of it too.
Well, yeah, because I'm building the whole world, and everything's important because all of these big companies are connected to Doc Scratch, who is very important in the backstory of the circus and the darkness of the circus, where it really gets dark. Aside from how the circus is dark in the sense of cannibal and freaks and stuff and stuff.
Yeah.
But hard to explain without spoiling it.
No, I can imagine. No, if I could give Doc Scratch a voice, I gotta do this. I feel like he would sound like yes, I got this, Lily.
Not exactly. He's more refined. Also British, because this is in England.
So he would sound a little bit like this.
Yes, but older and more knowledgeable.
I could just see him being like a complete badass and being like, I got this. I could just see him being like a complete badass and he knows the whole world.
One more thing. I think this is the last company getting involved, but obviously the Emporas, they're part of a shipping company, which is also important for the plot.
Shipping company? Are we talking
Yeah, just a shipping company, boats and stuff.
Oh, I thought we were talking like car resi and whatever. No, just kidding.
And they're also one more company that I forgot about. Del Rosa, she runs a clothing company, of course, which is where the circus gets their outfits and stuff.
That sounds really cool.
And okay, I can't. So since obviously Kanaya's not the tightrope walker, I can't remember who the tightrope walker is, but she's she does the outfit. She is the one that directly works at the circus with the costumes and stuff.
Where when you were making circus stuff, Terezi, when you were thinking of the knife thrower gimmick, were you like?
I just went off some really cool art that I found that Tiff had already provided for me.
Yeah, I mean no, because I thought like.
Oh, one more thing I forgot. Sorry, I'm interrupting you again. Because I was scrolling down, I noticed one more important thing. Lord English, aka Albert, is literally the King of England.
Lord English, man.
Is the King of England, and he advises the Queen from the shadows.
I mean, like.
The Caliborn is obviously the prince, and Calliope is the princess.
No, because I was gonna say, did you take any inspiration from any of this for your?
Not really, no.
No.
I just kind of did wherever my heart took. Well, my brain took me.
Your brain. Your brain.
So, just to list a few more important characters, Jade is the daughter of a rich noble. Jake is also the son of a rich noble. Chavros is a member of the freak show. Rufio's the animal tamer. Oh. Summoner is a member of stage crew. Nepeta is the cannibal. Nepeta's the cannibal.
The cannibal?
Yeah, she's the cannibal. Mulin isn't related and just frequents the circus. The Huntress is a member of stage crew. Terezi is, although she is still the knife thrower because I like that. It's perfect for her.
Why would I?
She grew up with John on the street. Sorry, continue.
No, why wouldn't I have guessed? because you cosplay her and you're the knife thrower, so why not?
And Latula is the daredevil. Red Glare is the chief detective at Scotland Yard. Riska is Jack the Ripper.
I like how you did all that, especially my boy. You gave my boy justice, so I give you a high five for that. So
yeah, Riska's Jack the Ripper though. she won't come into play for a while in the story.
So wait, who's Jack the Ripper again? He's the
Riska, but yeah, Jack the Ripper is the guy who kills. He kills 3 women in London around I can't remember the exact year off the top of my head, but around the 1880s, 1890s, around there, and pulls their insides out and whatnot, and lots of gory stuff.
But that's your thing, though.
Yeah,
that's your thing.
And he technically never actually got caught. Now, I believe they think they arrested someone who they thought was the right guy, but they never actually got him.
I think I heard stories about Jack the Ripper before. I mean, he's
a pretty popular killer.
Yeah, I mean he's almost on the same level as
even though he only killed 3 people.
Yeah, I
Well, 3 women.
it was it was sick, really.
Yeah.
But but like but I mean that story that you made up, that is I can't wait to see where that actually goes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Arania is a popular author for anyone who cares about Arania.
If you ever want to do any videos about
Oh
it,
yeah, the executioner works at Scotland Yard, and Horace is a worker at works for Scratch and makes designs and gizmos for stuff for the circus, basically.
yeah, if you ever want to make videos or anything about that thing, I will be 100% up to help you out with that.
Oh yeah, one more thing, I forgot about another big business because once again I had most of them grouped in one spot, but then here he is down there. But Grand High Blood basically owns a giant corporation that and basically controls the underground, the black market and stuff.
The black market and
Yep.
stuff.
And Karkat's the target for Terezi.
Yeah. Oh man.
He's the target, the knife throwing target.
No. Do you know what I was gonna do if at Circus Stuck if you were like if the knife thrower thing was actually legit and you were actually gonna be doing it and I was on the target, I was gonna and if you threw one and you almost got me, I was gonna be like, Serpent, what'd I say about you? Freaking?
Oh yeah, Kinkery is a reporter for the newspaper. The Signless is a religious leader trying to promote his own religion. Dirk works at Scratch Industries. Roxy is a bartender and info broker. And of course, because I like including everyone, Fafetta Sprite is a member of the Freak Show.
Yeah.
Aerosol Sprite is the heir to the small fishing company. Dave Petta is a Scotland Yard investigator. That's one of my favorite little things. I've drawn that one a few times.
How you
And,
what's that?
sorry, one second. Sorry, back.
Oh, it's all right.
I was talking to my dad, which obviously does not need to be in the podcast.
No, it's all right. It's all right. But yeah, sounds your whole concept sounds pretty good. I like it.
Yeah. There's still so many more characters that I haven't mentioned yet. They all have their roles, but they just don't have things like all of the felt characters are just, security guards and whatnot at Scratch Industries. I usually give them roles like that. I did that in Scratch Labs as well.
So hey, I got an idea then. How about we do a whole episode on that whole thing?
Sure.
Because
I've got a lot more here, because that's just some of the basic stuff about the characters, but I still have the whole put into place section, which is much longer than the background, oh god, it's so much longer than the background.
Yeah,
I during the course of me saying and the few words before that and this, I've been scrolling through the whole thing.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, that could be a whole episode, just you talking about this and its background and its
Although
characters.
I have talked about at least half of it in this one, because circuses.
Yeah, I know, but we can build. You can take an episode to build onto it, and
maybe by then I'll have more written as well. It's been a while since I worked on it.
Let's just do it. It's an idea.
Yeah.
So, oh man, we've been going for an hour and a half.
Well, I guess it's about time to end the episode then.
I was just letting you go, man, because you're talking about your whole thing, and I wasn't gonna stop you.
Yeah.
Well, I think I really like this episode. I think we did well on this episode. It was really informative. We actually got crap done, and I feel.
And we already know what's gonna happen next episode.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about zombies.
Zombies. I love talking about zombies. I can talk about that a lot.
It's not highly my interest, but this isn't my podcast in the first place, so so we're gonna talk about zombies next week and give Serpents is gonna go. It's gonna be
tune in next week for zombies.
Yeah, Serpents gonna go crazier than a chicken with its head cut off, and I'm just gonna be here just like they walk slow.
Like, I don't watch any popular zombie shows, but I can talk a lot about it, okay?
No, it's fine. But yeah. That's gonna be really interesting. Thank you everyone for listening to episode 7 of In the Serpent's Pit with Serpents Breakdown. You can follow me on Twitter at NostalgiaVamp. You can follow me on Facebook at CyberTimeBite. And how about for and of course for Serpent, you can find Serpent at Instagram at Serpents Breakdown. You cannot mess that up. You can follow Serpent on Twitter if she was okay to bring it out one day.
I literally do not use Twitter. I have 0 followers and like 2 posts. Okay, it's like not even worth keeping around. To be honest, I only keep it there for like the, art people I follow and the Homestuck tweets.
I mean, like how many people follow you?
No one on Twitter. No one follows me on Twitter, which I'm fine with.
Do you think that you can like? No, we should freaking use it for the podcast for bring people there.
Nah, there's no one. It's not. I don't really have anything there, and I don't really use it either. I'm really bad at using Twitter. It's hard for me to use.
No, hey, no. It's fine. So yeah. Thank you for everyone for listening. Join us next week as we talk about slow brain eating, life not giving zombie effect zombies. Hope you all have a fantastic day.
Yeah.